Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's another day, another Tuesday, another week gone by. I hope you all have had a great week thus far. I'm back again with what's on my iPhone video, and in this video I'm also going to be mainly showing you the apps that I use to edit and kind of like a mini phone review since I've had it for over a week now, so I'm going to give you guys a review of that as well. So I'm just gonna slide over a little bit here so that then I can put a screen recording here of my phone. And stop. So when I unlock my screen, this is the first thing that I see. This is my home page. I have the majority of the apps that I use kind of on a daily on this page just because every time, excuse me, I just burped, I'm sorry. Every time that I unlock my phone, this is the first page that I want to see. If I scroll over to the left, it's just the widget Smith, a picture of me and my boyfriend. And then if I scroll to the right, it's just other apps that I have that I use every now and then, but they're not, I don't use them as often. So that's why I don't need them on my home screen. So if you look here, I have the Mail app, Safari, Shazam, LinkedIn, Utilities, Folder, Calendar, Photos, Google Drive, the Huji Cam, which I'm going to show you guys later because I really love this camera, my editing app, my editing folder, Pinterest, Finance, Amazon, Netflix, Food, Notes, Social Media, YouTube, Gmail, YouTube Studio, which I've been using more now that I'm uploading more on YouTube more often, Fiverr, which is a great place if you're starting off to just get yourself out there and to get yourself gigs, whether they're big or small. It really just helps you build your portfolio because it's going to connect you with people that need photos and people that are willing to pay for your services and your talent as well. And then I also have Google Calendar. I'm going to be focusing mainly just on the editing folder just because I feel like you guys care more about that than any other apps that I have on my phone. So Preview is just an app that it lets you see your Instagram layout, and then you can add photos from your camera roll so you can plan out your Instagram feed. I don't use it that often anymore just because it did give me a little bit of stress and anxiety because I was like, I don't know what picture to put, and even though this looks good, I don't know what if it doesn't actually look good. There's just a lot of back and forth, so I use it only on occasion. I use it more so when I am uploading like a series of photos. That way I can have them arranged a specific way. But if I'm just uploading a picture of myself or of like me and my friends or me and my family or something like that, then I don't really need to use that. Canva is a great app if you need like a platform that will help you design things. Like you see, it has all these categories: your story, Instagram story, video presentation, Instagram post, logo, poster, card, photo, collage, phone, iPhone wallpaper, resume, invitation, business cards, menus, and it just goes on and on. I actually used it for my Instagram to make my Instagram highlights, as you guys can see here. They're all pretty cohesive because I just picked one template and then I found my icons and stuff, but it was really cool because it was really easy to make these, and if I wanted to ever add another highlight, then it's really easy for me to just go back in and use the same format that I was using before. And it's also really good if you're just starting out and you don't really know like how to design things. Like me, I'm a photographer, not necessarily a designer, so there's certain things that I don't know how to do. So this is a good way that if you want to have that creative aspect but you don't necessarily have the skills or the schooling for it, then this is definitely the app to do all of that. It has so many different templates, so many different icons, it has so much for everybody. and for also your specific style as well. Next, I have the Photo Grid app. I use this app only when I'm doing like kind of like before and afters, like if I'm doing edits and stuff. Here I just put these two pictures together just to show you guys what this app looks like. You can add up to 9 pictures and create a collage. They have different layouts in here, as you can see. You can do diagonal in the corner like that, off to the side, cut paper, or you can also do, you could change the ratio, like if it's going to be on your Instagram story, you see they do it a little bit thinner like that. You can change the background to blur, color, or something else. You can add text, stickers, filters, effects, a watermark. So it's really cool. I really like this app, and it's also just really easy to use. Sometimes I feel like there's some apps that just give you so many options and so many different ways to do something that it can get a little bit overwhelming. Camera Connect is what I use right now so that I can position myself within the frame, because my viewfinder, the screen that is on the back of the camera, it doesn't separate like on a lot of vlogging cameras and stuff, so I can't see myself unless I'm looking at myself through the app because it connects to my camera. VSCO is one of the apps that I would highly recommend to anybody that doesn't really know how to edit much but also wants a specific look or a specific style, and somebody that doesn't know much about like white balance and the shadows and the highlights and all that and how to adjust them and all that stuff. I definitely recommend VSCO because it is very easy to understand, and it has so many filters. So for example, like what you saw on my lock screen, I'll go ahead and edit this picture. I had this app for like 3 or 4 years before I decided to actually buy all the presets, and now I think I pay like 99 cents a month maybe, or maybe it was 99 cents one time, I can't remember. But to me it is useful having all these apps. I can have my favorites, which are all right here, and you can go to recent ones that I've used, or all the presets. It's really cool because there's something for every style, black and white as well, and there's different black and white styles. There's also like this. Some of them are very subtle, and that's like why there's so many, but the subtleties are important and they do make a big difference. My favorites kind of consist of the same kind of tone, as you can see, just because when I edit my pictures, I don't necessarily like to have like all the pictures look either like with a blue kind of tone or like a really orange or pink or like super light and bright. Like I like pops and vibrancy, like vibrant pictures. Vibrancy, what is that Raquel? But yeah, as I just scroll through, like this one I use a lot, this one is good. I like the filters that still stick with the same colors, so I'm not using a filter that is completely changing the colors of everything. So let's see, for example, like this one here, like made it super orange. I probably would just adjust this and bring it down maybe like that, and then I would come into here and you can adjust with the exposure. I probably bring it down just a little bit, and contrast, bump it a little bit, and then this cool is you can hold it down and see the before and after. And then I would come over here to the white balance because it is a little bit orange yellow, so I'd go ahead and slide it that way, and then you can see the difference. It's not too much of a difference, but it does make a difference for me. And then the highlights, you can bring it down or boost them up. The shadows, the same. I usually like the shadows lower, just because I kind of like contrast. I don't necessarily like it to just look flat like this. I just feel like it pops more that way. But yeah, So that's really cool about VSCO. You see you have contrast, sharpen, clarity, saturation, tone, which is highlights and shadows, white balance, skin tone, a vignette if you ever want to, which just makes the outsides darker, lighter. Grain, if you want to add grain, you can always can. I don't like adding grain. Fade as well, as you can see, if that's the kind of look that you want to go for. Split tone. Sometimes if you wanted to make like your own filter, then for example I could put like an orange tint on it and then put it down and then do the highlights and maybe add some yellow and put that down maybe around there. So that would be a cool way to edit the picture. And then what's cool too is that you can always use the HSL channel as well, and that allows you to edit each individual color. So if I wanted to put the yellow saturation all the way up or all the way down, or make it more orangey or more yellow, and then the lightness of it as well. So that's really cool. That's why I like VSCO, because you can do a lot, but I feel like it kind of explains some of the things that you're doing in an easier way than maybe like Lightroom sometimes. I don't know, if you've never used Lightroom, it can be a bit overwhelming. And speaking of Lightroom, I'll go ahead and show you mine. I like to use this mainly when I have a picture that, say like one half of the picture is darker than the other half. I can always just come in here. Let me go ahead and import a picture from camera roll, select photos. Let's do these. And look, that's my dog. Yeah, tap to open, swipe to select add. We're gonna go ahead and do this together. And then I want to go here. Here we go. When we click one of the pictures, and so for example, I can always use this selective tool in the bottom left. It's gonna go ahead and give me a whole tutorial, just because this is the first time me opening the app. But you just press the top plus button in the top left corner, and then drag on the photo to create a linear gradient. So like that, for example. If I wanted to do the light, I can go ahead and up the exposure, and it's cool because you can see it as it's happening. So if I would want to even this out and just have both sides be pretty much the same, I would do right about there. And then it's cool, you can always see the before and after. It's very subtle. The thing that I love too about Lightroom, I do pay for the whole Adobe Creative Cloud, so that's why I have access to the selective, the healing, and the healing tools. But if you ever have like a blemish or anything, you can just go ahead and do like a little circle, and then I'll grab from somewhere else, and you can always move it around to see which part of the image best would blend. So like that, for example, there you go. And then you can always do auto. I never like to do auto just because I like to edit it myself. There's a lot of different presets on Lightroom as well. If you go over here to the presets, you have color, creative, black and white, defaults, curve, green, optic sharpening, vignetting, and then you can make your own presets as well. I also like just the way that everything is set up here. In VSCO, for example, you can only do the exposure, contrast, highlights, and shadows. And sometimes for me that's not enough, because I need to also edit the whites and the blacks specifically, because I feel like in VSCO it only lets you either, when you use a highlight slider, if I remember correctly, it just hides the highlights, and then when you use the shadow slider, it like takes away the shadows. And sometimes I want deeper shadows and brighter highlights. So like for this example, I can put that all the way black like that, or I can put it all the way flat. And you can't do that in VSCO, and the whites as well. You see, I could make that the whites of the light shining through really bright like that, or I can dull them out. Whereas in VSCO, you can only just dull them out. You can't really brighten them up. Another thing too is the color. I like that in Lightroom because it also has a desktop version, and if you guys do photography, then you know all the features that it has. But you can also change the white balance, as shot, auto, custom. And if you do custom, it can go ahead and just change the temperature, the tint, the vibrance. I'm just moving sliders around, and yeah, so then you can always see the before and the after. Made it a little yellow, just sliding things around. You can also do the texture, clarity, dehaze if you need to, which I think that looks a little bit better. And the clarity, sometimes maybe if you just want a super soft or super sharp, which is another thing that I realized in VSCO. VSCO has sharpening, but it doesn't have like the clarity like that. You can't soften an image the same way as you could. Grain, detail, also the sharpening, optics. Sometimes if you're using a different lens, you need to enable the lens correction because the lens has distorted the image a little bit. In this case, I turned it on, but there was no distortion, so that wasn't necessary. You can also distort the image. You see like this, which is cool. Vertically, horizontally. You can always rotate. You can offset it on the x-axis and offset it on the y-axis, which is really cool. So this is also why sometimes I like to just use Lightroom, because I'm used to being able to have more flexibility and more options to edit with. I'm really excited for when Apple comes out with the Apple Pro Raw, and being able to just edit photos in the actual Photos app, I think would be really helpful and really cool. And then there's Widgetsmith, which you just use to create widgets. I'm going to show you guys the Huji Cam just because I really like this camera. It's really fun, and it just puts a funky effect. So as you see here, if I just take a picture like this is what it looks like behind the camera with me filming. And you can always go to the lab, and then boom, that's the picture. And then you can always change the settings, like if you don't want to have the date or the format of the date. If you want, they used to have an they used to have an option where you could pick how much of it puts of the words have escaped me. How much it puts of the dust. Wow, dust. Yeah, so let's see, for example, if I click like this, maybe this one will add some dust. No, that's okay. Let's see, I want one that has dust. Maybe I'm gonna have to put it, just put my hand. Okay, it's not adding the dust right now, but sometimes it adds dust to the image. But yeah, I use Google Drive when I have clients and I need to send them pictures. I just create a folder on there, that way I can share it with them. They can download the images and keep them for themselves. I also use WeTransfer as well, depending on how large the pictures are, because sometimes Google Drive does limit you on capacity. Also, I don't know if you guys can see, but I got a new phone case. I got it from Amazon. It's beautiful. I hope that this is focusing. It is nice and raised edges, so if it falls, it is falling on the edges and not directly on the screen. I love this phone thus far. The battery life is amazing, way better than my 11. I can have the phone all day and be using it all day, and the battery holds up just about until I go to sleep. The camera is amazing. I want to do a video showing you guys how you guys can take pictures on your iPhones that are high quality and really good, like they look like they're almost professional, or that they are professional, depending on your preference. And I'm just rambling in that, but I'm not gonna include that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's really fast as well. The 3 cameras, it's so funny. Sometimes I just look at the phone and I just think, wow, why are these cameras so big? But also at the same time, seeing the quality of the pictures and how much it has improved from my 11 to this phone, I understand why they are bigger. Yeah. I know this was a more serious video-ish. Not really like, ha. But it's fine. Okay. Ooh. Anyways. Thank you all for tuning in for another video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope these apps were helpful to you. Also, if you have some apps that I didn't show that you like better than the ones that I have, please leave them in the comments below, because I always love to learn about new things and new ways to edit and different apps that are out there for photographers and for people that just want either pretty pictures or pretty Instagram feed or anything like that. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.